I mean, let's look at onsemi, which is a company that makes very pedestrian analog chips go into autos, versus NVIDIA, okay? onsemi is the kind of stock that could have said anything this morning and would go higher because it's been left behind. It's not a semi that people are focused on. NVIDIA could say anything at once and it'll end up lower because it's viewed as too big, too much capital. And if you look at the conundrum of Alphabet, if they had said they're going to continue to spend a lot, okay, they get dinged for spending too much. If they had said they're not going to spend as much, they would have been dinged for falling behind Amazon, falling behind Meta, and of course by Microsoft. So the big cap tech can't do anything right, and the smaller cap tech can't do anything wrong. ServiceNow, even though it's not really small.
That's not small. That's 150
well,
plus
but I'm just saying, you know, that they have a course to implement AI, but the other guys, it just seems like we just decide, you know, we're going to hold these people to a higher standard. They don't have anything.
All right,
Look
so
at that.
what?
Now, there's a stock that's up 100 quick ones.
We do head into, again, a week where we're going to get Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Apple, to name four of the biggest companies in the world. Will that change the narrative at all, in your opinion?
I don't think so. Look, I mean, if Microsoft does something revolutionary and say that PC sales have a real refresh and that there's great interest in Copilot, that would be good. Amy Hood, the CFO, making those comments, she is not a hype artist. And she did say good things about Copilot last time. That's what has to happen in order to be able to get MAG, whatever, up. I mean, Adam Jonas came to the rescue of Tesla today after that one being disappointing. No one's come to the rescue of Alphabet, even though I could make a very good, compelling case for Alphabet. No one wants to hear about it.
Right. Well, I assume it would start with just the multiple that Alphabet trades at. But back to this. The rotation and the new perspective on many of these companies. There's no doubt Microsoft's going to talk about how much money it's spending.
Yes,
and how much money Meta's will talk about or on AI. And the CapEx numbers, as I sit here and just marvel at the numbers themselves, whether it be operating income, whether it be free cash flow, whether it be how much money these companies are spending, because we've never seen anything like it. So is that going to overshadow anything else? Because we're going to come back to this basic idea.
Right now,
are you ever going to get a return on invested capital from all this?
Okay, so Jensen Huang sits down with Mark Zuckerberg today in a fireside chat.
Oh.
Yeah, at a graphics conference in Denver. And I think this could be the first time, and of course, darn it, Zuckerberg's in quiet period because reports from Meta. But you might see him lay out something positive with Jensen there. Remember, Jensen and Mark did not, my buddies Jensen and Mark,
of course,
did not necessarily get along when this whole thing started. And then Mark realized the value, and I think that he's a big ROI guy. He's not known other than that one branch where he's just trying to figure out what to do. And, you know, I think he does the Ray-Bans, but that can't move the needle. Stock's up for whatever reason. But I do think that he can lay out a good case with Jensen there about why he wants to spend some money with Jensen Huang.
Right.
I think Jensen Huang, I think that NVIDIA never recovered from former President Trump's
Taiwan comments?
Yeah, pay protection or else. And I actually have sources in the PRC, as shocking as that is.
I find that hard to imagine.
Well, actually, they're American who are there.
They're American, what? I mean,
American
do you really want me to ask
there.
you questions about this?
Absolutely.
It's going to fall apart.
Well, no, because, no, it's actually not.
Tell me who these sources are in the PRC.
No. Just hear me
Do they
out.
come to you during the night?
Just hear me.
President Xi, direct line into your brain?
Okay, so let's go with Gina Raimondo, who was on Mad Money last week.
Yeah.
She's saying, don't worry, the Democrats would protect Taiwan.
Right.
Former President Trump is saying, listen, we have to
pay us.
Pay us tribute.
Pay us protection money.
And a very logical thing was that someone I follow who's in America, who does a lot of business with China, said, look, they're beginning to think maybe we'd prefer the status quo. But if we could get in there and take Taiwan because the government doesn't care, well, that would be an opportunity.
It would be a very bad moment for the world economy, one would expect.
Yes, it would be very bad. And I'm glad you mentioned that because you're talking about 100% of a company that is one of the largest companies in the world. 100% of the companies semis come from a country.
Taiwan semi is what we're talking about. All the high-end chips are made by.
Yeah. And
now we're trying to change that. We're in the process of, that was part of the CHIPS Act.
Very hard.
The fabs that are being built in places like Arizona, for example, are trying to change that. In part, some of them being built by that very same company.
But they won't be the cutting edge. Look, they're meant to be cutting edge, but the fact is, the kind of chips that NVIDIA needs are just unlike anything else. They're not chips that go into an automobile.
But I want to come back to your initial thesis because it was interesting, which is that NVIDIA's stock price sort of stopped going up and started actually, amazingly enough, going down a bit on those. So what reverses that? I mean, we're, again, back to what we're going to get this week. It seems unlikely we're going to get anybody saying we're going to spend less money on NVIDIA chips.
Now we're talking about 1.4 trillion aggregate is what people are talking about.
In terms of spending by all the hyperscalers and everybody else in terms of over time, obviously.
Exactly, but you need to have candidate Vice President Vance say no matter what, the relationship with Taiwan is sacrosanct. Now, the reason I say it's possible is because that was the former President Trump's rap for all this.
Yeah, not anymore.
He went to sacrosanct.
Have we heard anything from current Vice President Harris on that? Subject?
Only what Gina Raimondo said, the Commerce Secretary, which she said that Vice President Harris is all on board with the current plan, and that is to defend Taiwan and at the same time build chips here. That's her position.
All right, let's talk about NVIDIA and the rest of the market right now. This is a very important week for NVIDIA megacap tech stocks and for the entire market. We have Microsoft earnings tomorrow on Tuesday after market close, Meta earnings on Wednesday, Amazon and Apple both report on Thursday, and then we also have many semiconductor companies reporting this week, including AMD, Lam Research, and Intel. And on top of all of that, we also have FOMC this week. So I'm expecting some volatile swings in the market throughout this week. For right now, I think the entire market is holding its breath and anxiously awaiting the megacap tech earnings this week. Early in today's trading session, I was looking for trading opportunities, and just about every chart I looked at was showing conflicting signals and erratic price action. I could tell, just by reading the charts early in today's trading session, that market participants are anxious right now, and they are unsure about how the market will react to those megacap tech earnings this week. The crazy thing is that even if I had these companies' earnings reports in front of me right now, I could not honestly tell you how the market would react to them. This is because there are currently differing opinions among market participants when it comes to these companies' capex spending on AI infrastructure. The Mag 7 have been spending billions upon billions of dollars in capex spending to build out AI infrastructure, and market participants are divided on this topic. Some market participants are upset about the massive spend on AI infrastructure and questioning if these companies will ever see a return on their investments. Other market participants believe these companies will see a return on their AI investments, but they are wondering how long it will take before they see a substantial ROI. Personally, I think these companies will see a substantial return on their investments into AI. I just don't know what the time frame is between now and when we start seeing substantial returns on these companies' capex spending. I've heard some analysts recently compare the situation with AI to the dot-com bubble in the 90s, saying that there was a long digestion period between companies building out internet infrastructure and when they ultimately saw a return on their investments into building out that infrastructure. Today, though, the companies that are investing heavily into AI are in a much different situation now than those companies were back in the 1990s. I think Amazon is a prime example of this phenomena. Think about Amazon back during the dot-com bubble. They were a much smaller company, and their stock got absolutely pummeled when the bubble burst. Here's the thing, though. Amazon is a much different company today. Today, companies like Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, and others are well capitalized. They have massive balance sheets, and I think that if there is a digestion period between when they invest in AI and when they ultimately see a return on those investments, it will be a substantially shorter digestion period than the one we saw following the conception of the internet. If that proves to be true, then that would be very good news for the future of NVIDIA. For now, in the short term, there is a very real possibility that some of these megacap stocks could trade lower following these companies' earnings, even if they report great results. Market participants will be paying extra close attention to these companies' capex spending, and no matter what their capex spending is, you will have differing opinions among market participants as to where the stocks should go in the short term. If megacap tech as a whole trades lower, it is going to pull NVIDIA down with it in the short term, or at the very least it will weigh down on NVIDIA. Long term, though, if these companies are still on track with their capex spending, or even taking it a step further and increasing capex spending, then that would bode very well for the long-term future of NVIDIA. In the short term, I am not bearish or bullish on NVIDIA. I'm seeing conflicting signals on the charts. For now, I'm waiting for those megacap tech earnings, especially their capex numbers, and I am patiently waiting to see the market's reactions to those numbers. With all of that being said, I hope you're all having a great start to the week, and I'm curious to know your thoughts on NVIDIA in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.